Hello everyone, welcome to City Skylines Springwood City Unmodded Gameplay episode 12. The new neighborhood we made in the previous episode didn't get us to our next milestone of 17,000 people, so we'll be making more buildings in this episode and getting us there for sure. But along with that, we want to improve another aspect of the city, which is public transit. Now you might be asking, how does this help increase the population? Well, it doesn't, not directly at least, but I have a theory that it might still be able to quicken the growth of the city by getting people from their homes to their workplaces faster, which might fill existing jobs faster, which might trigger more new jobs, which in turn would attract more people to the city and raise the residential demand and eventually increase the population. Now, granted, this might be a little bit of a stretch and this is an untested theory anyway, but it is a theory nonetheless. Besides, we have to improve the transit of the city at some point anyway, so this might just be an excuse to do that. Now, I have been looking around the city to get a sense of how the Sims are moving around, and I see a lot of people are waiting at this bus stop. And I think switching to a different mode of transport, like the monorail, might be able to handle this much amount of people a little bit better. So let's start by putting our first station near Mulberry Park. I'm going to use the stations and the tracks on the road itself. Let's make sure the station is angled correctly. And now let's see what this looks like. And it's alright, it's pretty standard. There's nothing green around it, which I don't like. But that's okay, we can manually add things later on for sure. Okay, let me add this road over here, and I'm thinking we could actually upgrade a major part of these roads into the monorail. Perhaps loop it around this road, and we already know that this line would be quite in demand considering we are mostly just replacing our existing bus line, which already is quite heavily used and quite efficient to get our people to these areas. So let me do this and see you guys in a bit. Alright, so now that this is done, the next step is to make more stations. Right now we just have one, which is over here, and we'll probably need to make one over here. I think this is a good location for it, but the problem is, since this is a curved road, I'm worried messing with this would dezone the homes here, which is the exact opposite of what we need. So let me leave it out for now. But we don't have that problem over here. We have this university, which is a perfect place to put a station, so I'm gonna do just that. And I'm going to rebuild this road as well. That looks perfect. Alright, so now the next station can really be over here. This one can really help our residents of Foggy Heights to get to their workplaces. Of course, we'll need to extend it to the industrial area. Right now we don't really have it there, but that's okay. For now, we'll just keep it as is, and we'll add one more station over here. That looks good. Let me just connect this with the road, and that is actually a little bit weird with all these angles, but I think for now that's okay. So with this sorted, let's come back to the station in this area. Like we discussed, we cannot build a station here, even though this would have been the most ideal. We cannot even build a station in this corner because that would be too close to the other two stations. This corner though is a completely different story. I think we can build a station here, at least for now, and I might move it later on if I really wanted to, or we can keep it if it works well. But yeah, with that, I think all of our stations are ready for now. We've got 5 stations at the moment like you saw, and the next step for us is to add a line. My plan is to add 2 lines, one in each direction as you're seeing right now. This definitely is overkill for the moment because we won't have that many people using it for now. So we will reduce the budget to lower the number of trains to maybe 1 per line or 2 per line. We'll see. But before we actually get to that, we need to take one more step, which is to modify our existing bus lines or maybe add or remove them. So let's do that right away. Once I'm done with these colors, I realize that everything is looking very similar. So let's change our buses to blue and yellow and our monorail to maybe pink. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I know the yellow bus line is overlapping the monorail, so we don't really need that, I believe. There are some areas which are covered by the bus and not the monorail, so we'll need to deal with that. So I think I'll probably make a new line for that, but for now I'll just remove the yellow line entirely. And what about the blue line? Is it efficient? It's not really. It's saving just 36%, and we have actually 27 coaches for this. I don't know why, probably because it was an old line. So this line will actually need a lot of modifications. We probably don't need all of these stops over here which are overlapping with our monorail. This is also exactly why we removed the yellow line entirely rather than checking the efficiency and all that. And surprisingly, there was only one stop there. Okay, so this is pretty clear. I think I would want to move this stop over. Oh, actually even better, we can move this one over here. That would be perfect. But it seems like the stop doesn't want to move. What's happening? Let's see. Oh, so I think it doesn't. Okay, I can put it here. So it won't let me put the station. It won't let me put the stop right below the station, which actually would have been ideal. But I think this is not bad as well. I can probably live with this. So let's just make sure that this stop has a better access for the pedestrians. And now let's get back to modifying our bus line. So let's just quickly see which are other bus stops. I think everything else looks fine on this line, so I'm just gonna keep it as is. The only problem is this line goes all the way up till here, which I'm not really a fan of, and that's because I probably want to make a separate line just for this area.
12 seconds later.
Alright, so I've had a little change of heart, and this is basically how the new bus lines look like. The top portion pretty much remains the same, so I'm not going to talk much about that. The rest of the city though has significantly changed. Our main goal here is to use the buses as feeders to get people into the monorail stops. For instance, people from up there can take the bus to one of these monorail stations. In the same way, this part of the green line can be used for this station, this part for that station, and the yellow line for that station. Now, this is obviously not perfect. The biggest problem right now is most people who want to go to these areas would need to transfer into the yellow line from either the monorail or the green line. But for now, this is good. We just wanted something to start with. I'll keep modifying this as we go. I'll also extend the monorail as we expand the city. But for now, we are good with the lines. And for now, I'm going to reduce the number of trains by reducing the budget for both of these lines. And we'll increase this as the demand rises. Alright, so this is how the Mulberry Park station looks like. Look at all these people getting into the station. And this one is the station near Foggy Heights, and this is exactly what we want. The vicinity of the bus line along with the monorail station makes it easier for people to exchange between the two. Now, going back to Mulberry Park station where all of these started, I want to see how efficient this is, and I already see that there are a lot of people using it, and the car trips that are saved because of this are 65%, which is really good. So I'm just going to increase the budget just a little bit to increase the number of trains to 3, and I'll check the same thing with the other line the opposite direction. This saves 82% of car trips, so I'll add one more train to this one as well, and I think that's good for now.
A few moments later.
And no, we have a traffic jam happening. And I actually exactly know why that's happening. It's because of the bus stop, which is where all the buses are stopping, and because of that, all the traffic is also stopping. So let me fix this and see you guys right after that. Alright guys, this is what I ended up doing. I basically split out a segment of the road that was separate from the main road, and this is basically a one-way, two-lane road, as you can see. I had to make some changes with the pedestrian path and the water tanks there, and all of our bus stops, which were previously on the main road, are now moved over here. These stops were originally over here, and that's why it was blocking the rest of the traffic and jamming this intersection, which most likely wouldn't happen anymore. So let's start this and let's see if that actually works. And I think it should. There is also a stray stop over here, which, okay, that fixed. Let's bring that stop over here near the university as well. And in terms of the traffic, it seems fine. The buses, there are a lot of buses here, by the way. And yeah, we'll have buses like these which would stop on the road, which would create more and more traffic jams. Maybe if you move this stop a little bit like that, that would help the buses have some more space. Okay, yeah, that looks good. That seems to have helped a little bit. Not sure how long it will stay like that, so we might need to review this in the future. But for now, we are good. Alright, so at this point we are about 60 people short of 17,000. So maybe my theory with transit worked a little bit. The only problem is we are starting to see another death wave kind of situation, so that's definitely not good. Now the problem is we are so close to 17,000, so I don't really want to add another cemetery, but it seems like we might have to, otherwise we'll start losing people, which is not what we want to do. So the question is, should I take this risk? You know what? Actually, let me add a few buildings as well. We just need like 40 more people, so maybe adding 1 or 2 buildings will solve that. Another thing I'm seeing is a lot of demand for industrial and commercial, so I'm going to add a few more shops over here. That would hopefully help, and let's see what the rest of the city is doing at this point. This area is definitely more problematic. We have so many issues over here, and where is this coming from? Oh my god, that's far. Okay, that's really far. I'm going to add one more cemetery actually over here. Oh, I see what the problem is. This is already filled up. Okay, that makes sense then. And I'll probably also add another one over here because these residents are having this issue as well. I didn't really want to do this, but at this point I don't really have any other choice, and we're already down with so many citizens. So yeah, life is really hard, you know? Alright, so it seems like this is definitely reducing. Let's just see what the situation is. So we have these new shops. Let me add just a few more over here, and that should help increase people as well, hopefully. At this point, this is pretty much like a race to 17,000, you know? And I am really sad to say that the game is winning against me at this point. So yeah, I guess, at this point we are actually increasing our population. So that's a good sign. That's definitely a good sign. And okay, yeah, these are definitely having these hearses. So that's a good sign as well. We have a lot of cemeteries that are filled up. But yeah, hopefully this is probably the last episode where we have to deal with this. But you know what, I am at least happy that our population is increasing constantly. So hopefully in like a minute or two we will get there. And I'm really hoping that this... Oh no. Now we are losing people. So that is what's happening really. I probably jinxed it. Let's just see if traffic is an issue. This circle is definitely a problem. And yeah, even this one. See, okay, you know what? Let's upgrade this road probably to a larger road. I think it's okay if this is not a highway. And yeah, we are definitely freeing up some traffic here, so that seems to have helped. We are like 30 people short, so anytime now, anytime it should happen. And 998. We were so close. I actually thought that was it, you know. At least all the problems are getting sorted in the city, so I don't really know what's the hold up here. And oh yes, we did it. Finally. That took a lot of effort and a lot of time. But finally, we did it. So it's not really a significant achievement. You guys might be looking at me and being like, oh, why are you being so happy at 17,000? But it definitely felt like that. So you guys can probably understand the pain of my heart. But let's just see what else have we unlocked. So we've got some new pathways. We've got crematorium. Of course, that's what we've been waiting for so far. We've got a bunch of things regarding water and maybe transit and this glass transport hub, which this is actually really useful. Large water tower. You know what? This gives me an idea. We have some space right about over here, which is where I'm going to add a few of these water towers. And I'm going to explain why I'm doing this in just a minute. Let me just add a few of these connections over here. All right, that looks good. Now let's head to this part of the city where we can essentially remove all of these. And as you can already tell, the reason why we are doing this is to make this part of the city really, really clean. We have had those towers since forever. And I think even these power lines I can probably remove at some point. And by some point, I mean now. But I think I can do this off screen. So let's make sure our new area with the water towers is connected well with power and water. And now the next step, which we have all been excitedly waiting for, is to add our crematoriums. So let me do this and see you in a minute. So we have a lot of crematoriums at this point. And you might have noticed that I've put a lot of these next to our existing cemeteries, and that's because it's just faster for our hearses to empty the cemeteries when we actually get to that point. And while we are at this, let's just quickly see this traffic situation is sorted. Let's check out. Oh, we are not doing well with our sewage. I think I might have reduced the budget of this one as well. Yeah, there we go. So let's increase this. And now let's check this one. We have a lot of, we obviously have a lot of tanks at this point. Let's increase this a little bit like that. So we are good with our sewage. That looks good. Yeah, that's perfect. And now we can start shutting down some of these because we don't really need that many. And this looks perfect. All right, so I think we have sorted this. And now I have a feeling that this area can actually be a good service area for the city. So we can have everything like power stations and water towers and things like that in that area. So this is something to keep in mind for the future. But for now, let's get back to our city. We are losing a lot of money, and I think I know why. We probably are dedicating a lot of budget to our new crematoriums, which is healthcare basically. So let's check if at this point we can probably reduce the allocation for that. The death care situation is sorted for the most part, except this one. Let's check if anything is blocking that one. Let's see if there are any. Oh yeah, there is a hearse nearby. So I think let's start emptying our cemeteries, and we can reduce the budget of medical after they are emptied, and we'll be able to use that space for something else as well once they are empty. So yeah, a lot of things to look forward to. Alright, so at this point I can safely say that we were successful in achieving our primary goal of getting our city to 17k, and we were also fairly successful with our secondary goal to get a proper transit system for our city. I know it's not the best in the world, but we will spend more time as we go forward in making the rest of the city. Now my next step is to beautify the city, so that is something that we'll be probably tackling in the next episode. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.